Alright guys, here is how I lost my trade this morning on the Nasdaq because Trump decided to threaten to sue Powell. So first things first, I'm going to kind of jump into what happened before the market actually opened. So first thing I'm gonna do is just head over to the 1 hour, see that we are accumulating orders in this range, and CPI brought us all the way up. Alright. We didn't really have a manipulation leg because of CPI news. Technically this was our manipulation leg right here. So let's talk about it. All right. I see that CPI news data brought us up, and I didn't want to see us come back down to grab data lows. I'll actually hop in the replay simulator here just to get a better idea of what we're looking at. So I marked out the 15-minute fair value gap of this imbalance that we had right here, right? So keep in mind 723 is the CE. I already marked it out on the chart, actually 50-minute CE, right? Of the 15-minute fair value gap. And what I wanted to see out of that was a bullish reaction. And I marked out this 5-minute fair value gap that I wanted to inverse to confirm my bias, because I wasn't really trying to look for a break of structure. Since that would literally bring us almost to fucking all-time highs and just wouldn't be worth taking longs from there. I essentially wanted to look for the inverse, and that held up really strong with my trade since there was an SMT as well, as you can probably fucking tell by the screen. Okay, so what happened after the market opened? Well, we had this first SMT develop and a very bullish reaction out of it. Okay, we had that 5-minute close, so this is 9:34. 9:35 closes bullish once more. And then what I wanted to happen out of here was a bullish reaction out of this 1-minute fair value gap that we had formed, okay, to confirm my trade. I didn't want to just take it off the breakout structure. Okay, so what happened the next minute is that we came down. We didn't fully inverse this gap. As you can see, we did not close below the 1-minute fair value gap here. We had that SMT, and then what did we get next? A bullish reaction. That was more than enough confidence for me to take my trade. So what did I do? I found my entry model, and then I placed my order. I set my stops, I believe, under the 5-minute. It was about here, under the 5-minute, and I was targeting internal. Okay, I was targeting internal highs, and we started moving towards the upside. Okay. 944. 944. What happens at 944, you might ask? Well, I'll show you. Almost there. Oh, bearish candle. Fucking boom. Okay. Let me show you what happened here. Trump decided to put out a tweet. A tweet, mind you. A fucking tweet. At 9 in the morning. This has never happened before, especially with Trump. He doesn't do this shit on Twitter. Like, bro, fucking Elon just had to keep this guy on Twitter, huh? After all the fucking drama, too. Jerome, too late, Powell must lower the rates. Steve really gave me a beauty when he pushed this loser. The damage he has done by always being too late is incalculable. Fortunately, the economy is so good that we've blown through Powell and the complacent board. I am considering a major lawsuit against Powell. Brings the market down. I'd market this other SMT if I was looking for a second trade, but I didn't take anything, which is fine. And just got taken out. However, I did move my stop up. That I do remember. I moved it up. I moved my stop up ever since we got 1-to-1 around here. Right? That super bullish reaction. I actually think I'm lying to you guys. Low key. Wait, executions. Yeah. Because if I head on over to... Okay, perfect. So this is the trade that I wanted, actually. This isn't the trade that I took. This is the trade that I wanted, but I didn't take because I was like talking to my Discord or something. And what I actually took was 781 on this 1-minute candle. I'd place a limit order. Yeah. I placed a limit order right here, but got taken out immediately. 781. Just like this. I have my stop at 6.1. So yeah, under this 1 minute for value gap. I believe I took this on my other prop firm because I just started copy trading 2 prop firms. I don't want to log back in and out of my account, but I didn't take it on this account because I got distracted by my Discord members. But this is the optimal trade right here. This trade was so drawing towards these highs over here, but then Trump had to speak. We got manipulated, and then the market retraced all the way. Look at all that volume. 300 points, man. And now we're sitting pretty at all-time highs. I don't really have much to say about today's trade, to be honest. All I can really say is that we had this 15-minute fair value gap. Here's the CE of it that I marked out. We had a bullish reaction out of it to continue pushing higher. We had that 5-minute IFEG, which kind of acted like my breakout structure. And then to confirm my trade, I used my entry model, which I teach to my students. But to kind of give you a brief overview of like what it's similar to, this bullish reaction out of this 1-minute IFEG, right? We just displaced further up, and I had more than enough conviction, especially since we tapped back into this 5-minute FEG with a bullish close. I was like, all right, we're clearly drawing towards these internal highs over here. You could have argued that this could have been an order block, and if I took my profits here, it would have been a nice trade. But I had no fucking idea that Trump was going to put out that tweet, you know? You don't really know these things, and you can't predict them. But what you can do is say, hey, I think that the market's going to do this because we've seen XYZ so many times. So I think XYZ is going to happen. You know what I mean? That's just kind of what you just kind of have to take that risk and be okay with it when you're taking these trades. Like, these traders out here aren't getting funded for no reason, bro. They're getting funded because they follow a profitable system and strategy, right? That's just kind of how it is. Anyways, for tomorrow, I do believe we do have some core news coming out. PPI tomorrow, retail sales, as well as prelim consumer on Friday. A lot of good news this week. No news tomorrow. That's interesting. No news tomorrow. I'm super excited to see what the market brings for us. Ooh, this is also one key point that I want to point out as well that I kind of figured out on my own. Look how insane this is, bro. Here's the manipulation leg. Take a look at this. This is nuts. Here's the manipulation leg. Sorry. Here's the manipulation leg from before we manipulated. Dude, I messed this fib up. What the heck? I think it was up here. Dude, I had this marked out earlier. It like literally ticked exactly to where price drawed down to, like to the exact tick. It was pretty nuts. Was it this? Maybe I did it on NQ. Watch this, guys. So basically, like, I'm just trying to like show you that like you can predict where price wants to move to and stuff like that. Where was it? I honestly have no idea. But like this negative 2.5 was exactly lined up with this bottom right here. I can't find the exact point of interest I had marked out, but that's okay. That's irrelevant. That's just something that I kind of wanted just to show you. And super interesting stuff. But like I said, it's super unfortunate what happened today. There were a lot of very high quality setups that happened after the market already kind of dumped. Like, for example, we broke structure right here. You could have taken it on that BOS and wrote it down to data lows, which would have been an easy 1-to-1, right? TP, data lows, set your stop loss above here. It would have been, that would have been a negative R, but if you wanted to risk it instead of at this candle high, easy 1R. That was a trade I was looking at, but I didn't execute just because I didn't want to overtrade. Break of structure towards the upside right here. Bullish retrace off of this imbalance that we had marked out. Could have taken that. Set your stops under the imbalance. Target internal highs. Easy 2-hour trade. But like I said, I just wanted to get off the charts for the day. I didn't really feel like, take anything else. I just want to relax with tomorrow. I don't mind. You start realizing that you'll make more money on these charts when you just trade less and just ride the wave whenever it comes. You know what I mean? And not just force trades. I don't really enjoy forcing trades. It doesn't give me a really good feeling. Horrible gut feeling. But honestly, that's, kind of what the market did today, and shit happens. That's it. That's all I gotta say. I'll see you guys tomorrow.